Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We are Random Encounter Productions. I'm Cody Stone. With me tonight, we have...
Matthew! And I'm playing Clever Stitch, the Tabaxi Arcane Archer.
Are you? Caitlin, I'm
Yeah,
playing
no.
Fable Frost, the Ice Genasi Phoenix L Sorcerer.
Oh, that's I'm usually first.
I'm not here anymore. I know it's weird. Ugh. I swear I go here.
I'm Cole, and I'm playing Olorun Dawnseeker, the ASMR Hexblade Warlock Paladin.
Hi, I'm Eric, and I'm playing Sirach, your Horizon Walker Aarakocra Ranger.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Maz. I'll be playing Talroth Oakenblade, the 5'8", very slender build, wood elf scout. Just trying to add words since everyone had a lot to say.
There you go. Well, we should describe our characters more, but yeah. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here with us. This is Disasters in Danger. This is our D&D 5e high fantasy game in which we hang out and we chuck dice and go on adventures together. So if you guys are unfamiliar, this is our longest running campaign. We are actually this is season 2 of it. We started back in February, so things had to kind of shift and change, but I believe all those videos are up on YouTube, right? Are we?
They are, yes.
Yeah, we've been caught up. That's nice.
Yeah.
So
we don't all have episode names, but they're all there. Like they're all there and ready to, like, they're there, man.
Right.
I made sure, like, I got rid of the anxiety of, like, I need to make sure they have proper names and cover art before no, they're just there. They just up. Like, they're there.
So awesome. Well, welcome if you are new to the channel. If you are old to the channel, we are super happy to have you around. So yeah, this is our high fantasy classic D&D game. So we're gonna get into the action, but before we do, does anybody on the team have anything they would like to promote or mention or talk about? Yes, Matthew.
So, I was recently in a show.
Ooh.
It is a pre-recorded, so it's gonna be on a YouTube premiere.
Nice.
And it will be online for a week, and you can, once you have to buy a ticket, but it's $10, and then you get a YouTube link to the hidden thingy. It'll be up for a week. You can watch it as many times as you want. It's super fun. It is 18 plus technically, because it's
burlesque.
yeah, because it's opera and singing meets burlesque, which is a really it was something that I had never done before, so I don't do a lot of burlesquing even in the show.
But like, I feel like opera burlesque is a thing that's like waiting to happen. Like, I feel like time period wise, like that is weirdly appropriate.
It's a good mishmash. So if you want to see the show, it's called Nightwear on Elm Street, because it is a Friday the 13th horror, like villain themed thing. And if you head over to the Opera del Sol Facebook page, there will be a bunch of links there. Or if you're friends with me on Facebook, there will be a bunch of links there. Or if you're on our Discord, I will post more links there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Come see Opera Burlesque.
Awesome. Anybody else got something?
I just had my release of my prequel novella, which is one of the reasons why I've been gone, is I was trying to make this book deadline. And then subsequently I was trying to make a audiobook deadline for a separate project. That is going to be launching later this month, and the novella is already out. So, yeah. I can post links, I guess.
Yay.
Very cool. What else? Sorry. Keep looking for some things. Anybody else got something?
Eric.
Yeah,
Yes.
I got dogs. They're pretty. No, folks, if you are a music teacher or you know a music teacher, then you got to get yourselves over to the fantastic YouTube page of my fiance. It's called Ready Go Music, where she makes wonderful teaching aids, rhythm play-alongs for your music teaching classrooms. It's been going gangbusters over here, huge. And actually, she started picking up like traffic in Australia. I want to say Singapore. Like, people have started using these videos all over the world, and you should too. Also, if you just find yourself to be a musical person and you want to work on your rhythm, they're also a real good way to do that if you're having troubles with quarter notes and eighth notes. So, go ahead to Ready Go Music, give it a look-see, and have a wonderful time.
Mars, I think you had something going on?
No, I was just being an idiot.
Oh.
It's like, I got nothing.
Oh, all right. Well, check out Critical Kez on her social medias. She does a bunch of things. Not sure if she's full on commissions, but if not, check it out because she does a lot of really wonderful art. And that's what I got. Anybody else? Last calls? Let's get into it. Okay. Here we go. Our adventure takes place in the lands of Lichtracht. They are lands of myth and legend, lands with few or no active gods. Our heroes are members of the Magnus Exploratorium. They are adventurers that are part of an expedition that they have stepped away from on a personal journey at the moment. Their ultimate goal of their expedition is to make it to the Forge, a long-lost site where ancient arms of the Fated were said to have been created. In pursuit of one of those arms, they have traveled to the city of, I had it ready, Vlodensravet, the second city of the Blood Gulch River. And from there, they have been collecting information and rumors about Velxers' Teeth, an outcropping of small mountains a few days away from Vlodensravet. And they have discovered Velxers' Teeth are controlled, domained. It is the domain of a mad beholder Velxer, who dreams of having a beholder family and/or hive, as they are known.
But family love.
No.
They dreamt.
No.
For beholders.
No.
What?
No.
No.
I can't go on that mission. I'll make friends with it.
They have spoken with a few experts that have people of knowledge of Velxer. One of them was the Lord Klein, I believe, correct? Yes, got it. Make sure. I get my names wrong all the time, so I have to check in. That is a rule. If you play D&D with me, you have to remember the names, because I won't.
Fair enough.
The young Lord Klein, whose family of adventurers had run the last expedition to Velxers' Teeth about 7 years ago, in which his family was captured, and he was able to escape. So it's a tale of woe, to be sure. The other person that they made contact with is a known cutthroat and assassin, Athel, the Awful Athel, who struck a menacing figure of shadow and gloom, and admitted to Olarun on their conversation that he knew so much about Velxer's domain because he has worked for the Beholder in the past, bringing people to their doom, essentially. And so he knew of Dawnbringer, the blade that Olarun seeks. Told him it would probably be in an armory of some sort, and agreed to guide the team in if they would fulfill some requirements for him. One being all the gems in Velxer's hoard. Easier to obtain than what it sounds like because Velxer has a statue of himself that he is bedazzling, for lack of any better term. So, one piece, and a black iron key, which is said to rest behind the eye of Velxer himself. What exactly that means, we're not sure. But
Thank you. I was like, are we just cyclopsing this guy, or maybe it's symbolic?
don't know.
Great.
Cool.
I'm so glad this is what I chose to come back, y'all. Never mind. I think I hear my book calling me. I have to
Nope.
leave.
Your book said you're gonna stay and have an adventure.
You get back here.
So, you guys are in the hole, as the sign would say, hold, but it has been graffitied off. So you're in Gaffin's hole, and you've spent the evening doing some preparations, and morning has come. It's a pretty busy morning in the tavern, but it is not terrible. There are some chairs, there are some seats. Who among you guys is first up and around? Fable. And
She
and
actually hasn't
Cleverstitch.
slept yet.
Oh.
Like,
Well,
she is a night owl. Because circuses perform at night. So she is probably just like slept during the day while everyone was. If she's not on an adventure, she has no reason to keep to the camp sleeping hours. So she's just kind of hanging out, learning some new tricks for her new level.
okay.
Yesterday was the nap day, so.
Yes, yeah. She slept for like 18 hours straight, and then she's fine.
Well, today Clever stitches up because yesterday was sunbathing day.
Yes.
You're a cat. Why are you sunbathing?
Specifically
Because I'm
for the
a
reason
cat?
you just stated. Answer, question asked, and answered.
I realized after I said it. He didn't say sun tanning. He said
No.
sunbathing,
Yeah.
and that was on me. Like I should have. Yeah.
It is what it is.
So you two are up. You are downstairs in the tavern of Gaffin's Hole. All right.
So what would happen if I just poked your stomach a little? No?
No.
Okay. So I wanted to tell you, I actually learned something really cool while you all were out finding out this fun stuff. Do you want to know what it is?
Why not?
So I learned. So have you ever wanted to be like a bigger kind of cat, or like not a cat at all, but like a fish, or like a bird to hang out with Sirach, or like I don't know, a dragon? There it is. Ears.
Yeah. Pupils, huge.
Tail. So I think I may have learned how to do that to somebody, to make them to something bigger that they're not. It took a lot out of me to try to learn it. I haven't gone to practice much, and it would take a lot to try it now. So I don't really want to try it flippantly. But if the opportunity presented itself, would you mind if I?
Exciting.
Yeah. Do you
Absolutely
have
not.
do you have like a
Go for it.
preference in mind of what you'd like to be?
I mean, a dragon would be fun.
Yeah.
Something big.
Something big. Okay. Oh, good. Well, okay. So, I will take that into account, and I'm gonna start making some notes. And she like pulls out this little like, you see her flip past the page. It says number of times Stitch has died, 4. Or most died for 4. And she starts drawing little stick figure anatomy of like cat 2 ? And like figuring out in her head like mathematically how it would work. Like she has to understand the like mental component of some of these things if they're more complicated. So she's sort of like trying to figure it out. She's like, it's a very wizardly sort of strategy for a sorcerer, to be like, I'm gonna figure out why it works this way, and I'm gonna try to stretch his bones safely. Like,
Oh god.
because you don't try a trick when you haven't practiced it. Like, that's not. And if she doesn't have time to practice it, she better have a chart. So she's making herself a chart. How does I do that? How do I do this? So that's. She'll just sit there with Stitch and be like, wings? No wings. Horns? No horns. These? The hooves? No. Like. Yeah. Good. Amazing. Big claws. Fire breathing. Big lizard.
Sirach's gonna make his way down.
Okay, down comes the bird. Sirach, do you guys want to describe what you look like? It has been a moment.
Yes.
Sirach, why don't we start with you? Since
all right.
you're making your way down.
All right, plop-plopping himself down the stairs, kind of a little hop on each side, is a short Arakakra. He's about 4'8". He is, he has, his head is, has yellow feathers. He has that little cockatiel flippy bit, but it's down right now. He has big, orange reddish, patches on his cheeks, and the rest of his feathers are a muted gray. You see him walking down in what is a just studded leather adventurer's armor. He has a cloak, and beneath the cloak you assume are his wings that you cannot quite see. He kind of keeps them hidden under the cloak. They're there, but you don't really know they're there. He wears sort of like pants that are cut off right around the right below where the knee point would be, so you kind of see his claws. His talons as he jumps on down and hops on down. And strung across his back is a brand new longbow of beautiful, vicious design.
Fable jumps up at once to go be excited about that. You got a new toy! Like, she's just... Caitlin has missed all of you, and so Fable has done that too, apparently.
And he'll pull it right off his back and be like, oh yeah, no, it is fantastic. You see these guys? It's got these little two teeth on this side that come up. It's great. And
And it bites people with the teeth.
No. So apparently what it does is if I get like a really good shot, which let's be honest, most of mine are, but if I get a really good shot, it does a little bit more.
I miss you so much.
Love it. Stitch!
Do you want me to go? Do you want me to go next since I ran up to him?
Sure, yeah, please.
It's a small, pale, bluish white ice genasi skin. She sort of is a little frosty wherever she goes. Pale blue, almost white skin, but you can see around her hands and running up about to her elbows, darker like scars, and they're just deeper veins of blue that are, if you've seen her cast, they're usually scars that have to do kind of melting and rehardening as she keeps continuing to cast fire magic. She has short, spiky, pixie cut white hair, big shiny blue eyes, is dressed in like a skin tight like bodysuit style that's all silver and blue and shiny, a little skirt with snowflakes all over it, has little snowflakes in her hair, tiny little tip on the ears, not really full elfin, but like a suggestion that there's some lineage in there that's, I mean, she's obviously not human. And she is just glitter and snowflakes everywhere she goes. It's just all, and she has the accent feathers on that we picked up from some little mini feather cape and belt and headpiece. So that's her. She's excited to be here. She's all blue and silver and Christmas.
Hell yeah. Clever Stitch is he's a cat. He's 5'8", and he's a tabaxi, so humanoid-ish cat person. He specifically is a snow leopard, so it's grays with the spots, the big floofy tail, and then he is in dark gray and black and dark brown for his studded leather. And across his back, he also has a bow, just a regular one. And then his quiver actually has a divider in it with two types of arrows. So, and they look distinctly different on the tip where the feathers are. And yeah, I mean, he's basic. He's just a snow leopard cat person. So.
Your breakfast is served. It comes around. It is a hearty adventure, or definitely a traveler's breakfast. This is one of those places that just sort of cooks things in bulk for breakfast meals. They take orders at night, but breakfast is not. I wouldn't say a buffet. I don't think you have room for a buffet, but they've got what they've got, and if you want it, you'll eat it, and if you don't, that's fine. So, so eggs and meats and potatoes and you know, a scrap of bread. The plates are full. The meal is flavorful, perhaps a bit overcooked or left warm for too long, but not offensive in any way. What else?
So, how much did you guys hear about about what's going on with Olarune's sword Dawnbringer?
I mean, I heard a bit of it, but I could always use the more colorful rendition of the story, which is sort of bland.
Yeah, not a lot, but I'll roll with the punches and see what happens.
All right, so here's how it's going. Here's the best bits. We know where it is. It's in one of two places, and they're both on top of those mountains that we thought they were in.
So we're at least partway right about it, so that's good.
I'm leading with the good news.
Because of course you are.
The bad news, it's guarded by a beholder named Velxer, with the L before the X, Velxer. And he is, he's not a good guy. Not at all.
Recruiters aren't. But, I mean, we've dealt with monstrosities before. I don't know why this one's gonna be any different. I mean, besides the whole Beholder and Ice Stock thing.
Yeah.
We're strong and we're smart and we're clever. Does he know we're coming?
No! See, that's the good thing.
That is where I'm thinking. I mean, they're creatures of dreams and strangeness anyway. If there's sorts of things that we could maybe sneak up on him, a little bit, or draw him out of his lair.
So that's what we were kind of thinking, is having Saride kind of go in and distract him, and then myself, through mystical magical means, and Talroth, through sneaky as shit, hanging with a elven cloak of kind, his sneaky stuff, and we kind of sneak in and, you know, maybe get that sword without anybody noticing. And then, in my personal next portion of the plan, we run very quickly.
So is it just going to be Saride talking, and then just the two of you sneaking?
That sounds like a really bad plan.
I mean,
that
for
part,
Saride, but for the
numerical
rest
part.
of us, it kind of works out. But no, I believe that, so I think definitely Thozen said, what was his words? I will not let you go alone. He said something like that. And so I think he's gonna go with her. And I think Olarune said he might go with her. But I don't know if the sword's gonna let us, like, if Dawnbringer's gonna let us touch Dawnbringer.
That's the confusion. That's going to be the issue, I think, because what if we're going to the wrong place and Olarune's the only one who can get it? Because if it's calling to him, we're going to have to be able to access it. And if it doesn't like anyone else, that's a problem.
I would assume that unless the owner of this magical sword came to this beholder and then died, and it dropped right where they were and was never picked up again, that would be the only case in which
That's weird.
somebody couldn't pick it up.
Well, we do know the beholder has picked it up. Velxer. He has, apparently, sometimes he puts it on a wall in his main room, but then other times it starts getting too bright and he throws it down a well.
That seems like a horrible way to treat a mystical weapon.
It also seems very short-sighted. You gotta go pick it up from the well. Like, it's sad.
Alright, well, since this beholder can pick it up, probably yourself or Talroth can pick it up, I would assume.
I mean, yeah. Just gonna be getting us to let go of it afterwards.
Yeah, probably. Do you want a third on that expedition? Or
I mean,
do
it
you want
probably
to just
wouldn't
be the
hurt.
two? Oh, alright. Because I can also sneak. Sort of.
And now might be a time for that polymorph thing we were talking about, and I can turn into a mouse. Just right in your pocket.
This is true.
My only concern is letting people go in there without backup. Because we've seen what happens when we get, sort of stuck on our own. She looks pointedly at Stitch.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Pepperidge Farms remembers the biomancer. Fable disapproves.
There's a reason
will
that
remember
Stitch
this.
hasn't been on expeditions. He's been
Is he-
recovering.
is he
from
grounded?
almost dying. No, absolutely not. I mean, we'll see what everybody else wants to do.
Yeah.
Where are those sleepyheads?
Dalroth, what
I
are
can
you
go
up
get
to?
them up. Like, I'll go wake them. I'll go jump on someone.
Dalroth,
Elroth?
what are you up to?
Let's see. Yeah, probably be waking up right about now. I would have spent most of the night just kind of thinking about possible ways the plan could fail, possible ways it can succeed. Just overall kind of bouncing ideas off of Treasure and Olaroon. But yeah, at least in the morning, just wake up, hair's unbraided all over the place. Just once the armor's on, kick on the billowing effect to kind of throw the hair straight up, catch it, and then just start braiding it back down.
Okay.
Well, at least describing the appearance, since we've all been doing that so far. Very elven-looking studded leather that we had gotten from, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his whole name, Tower of La Rachenne, because the guy's a jerk. Along with the very useful Cloak of Elven Kind that I actually do sleep in, so good luck getting it off me, Sirach. But yeah, just about 5'7", 5'8", slender, very tan-skinned wood elf, long auburn hair that now being braided back. For the rest of the outfit, it's a very Mad Mardigan look, where the sleeves look like they can come off for like a quick change, or just kind of change up the look to quickly disguise myself. And yeah, before I start heading downstairs, I'll just take my double-bladed scimitar and just kind of strap it to my back, start making my way down. Because I smell coffee.
Absolutely. Slightly burnt and a deep roast, but it is wafting its way throughout the room. You see your friends sitting there at the table, a few extra chairs and meals placed around.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get myself a cup of coffee first, just this delicious lifeblood of a drink, and then just pile on some food on a plate. If it looks edible, sure, let's do it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I feel like even edible is questionable sometimes with him. If it looks like it won't actively poison me.
Probably that.
Do I need to go jump on Olaroon? I will ice him awake.
I think he's awake. Might want to give him a few minutes. That armor takes a bit to get into.
I believe it.
Fair enough. That's why I don't deal with this stuff. Just this is fine.
She sits there while they're waiting. She turns to Sirach. She's like, so I heard he was asking you about bird mating rituals.
Yeah, It was it was I mean, look, I'll be honest. Wait, he told you about that?
I may have been able to overhear.
Okay, like that's understandable. The ritual's kind of loud. But you know, it's real fun that someone was interested in the rituals of my people. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of Arakakra around here as we've been going around.
Sarok, did you need us to find your girlfriend? I can look.
No, no.
You need us to find your boyfriend. I can look.
No, that's not where I was going with the thing. It's just it's sort of a shared culture thing, and so you just haven't seen a lot around here, and I do my best to blend in. I know sometimes you guys forget that I'm Eric Cochran. I understand that. Not everyone sees race, but it was one of those things where it was good to be able to share a little bit of of my people.
Well.
But also he asked for my feathers. So, that was fun.
That's a bit odd, but it's fine. Alright.
I'm wondering if he found an Arakakra that he likes. And
That's
so
what
he
it
was...
sounds like. That is absolutely what it seems like. See, but I haven't seen anybody, so we'll have to really get it out of him.
I'm just gonna take a deep swig of my coffee.
I mean, sometimes he has wings. I feel like it would work. I feel like he could make it work.
I mean, look, from a completely aesthetic point, they are some beautiful wings. Just fantastic. And the light that shines when they come out, like, it's cinematographic. It's really good.
That was beautiful. Trying to make up words that shouldn't have existed. I will continue to make it uncomfortable until Olaroon comes downstairs. Like, I'm just gonna continue making it fucking awkward.
So Olaroon's probably actually been up since like 5 a.m. One of the first things that I did when I woke up was I immediately tried to see if I could commune with Dawnbringer in any way.
Okay.
Just to let her know that we plan on trying to find her.
Mm-hmm.
That I believe that trying to communicate that I believe that I've found her, believe that I will be able to reach her. But I will also let her know that it may not be me who is able to carry you first. So I would be trying to kind of communicate with Dom and try and get any type of information on like where exactly she is within the next like few days.
Mm-hmm.
So I can figure out where I can find her. And then after that, I would probably enter a pretty intense like prayer vigil.
Okay.
At least until, let's see what it's like. So that would probably be like the first, like, probably from maybe like 6 a.m. to like 9.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of meditating and just praying that my friends will be safe. Praying that we are able to find what I've been looking for so long without anyone getting hurt. That I will be able to fulfill what seems to have been my destiny for so long. And finally, I would pray to Zothis. And I would say there's an odd bit of irony that one such as me should pray to a god such as yourself. So often I feel like fate has been a shackle, a burden, a price that must be paid. Sometimes I wonder if it has been some cruel trick that you've decided to place on me, that all of these things should happen to myself. I'm just one person. But if you did this, if this was your design, if this was meant to make me stronger, if this was meant to make a difference in this world, then I understand that that's what I have to do. So I ask, the hand of fate, Zothis, please protect me and my friends. And if this is done, you shall find yourself with a new champion. And then probably at like 9 a.m., I'll get up and probably closer to 10, honestly. I'll get up and head down the stairs, like right before I leave my room. I'll just kind of like lean my head against the door, close my eyes, and just take as deep a breath as I can, and kind of school my face into a sense of confidence that he doesn't necessarily feel. And I will exit and descend to meet my friends.
Okay. Olorun comes down.
Finally, you're awake!
He goes, and I'm sorry to have kept you waiting.
We ate anyway, it's fine.
Oh, good. It's just it was kind of a rough night. So I apologize. Thank you for waiting.
Just hope that you're able to eat something, because I don't know if there's any food left.
Is there any food left?
Pickings are slim, but there's still something.
I'll take what probably little I can eat at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably a big ball of anxiety, and I'm trying to like make myself eat.
Sure, yeah.
He looks so stressed. Fable kind of wants to hug him. But like, in lieu of that, she follows him to the buffet-ish area, or wherever he's grabbing the food. And she ice prestidigitates a mini sword that looks like what she imagines Dawnseeker would look like, Dawnbringer would look like. She hands it to him. She said, "For luck."
He kind of like takes it and he goes, this isn't that far off.
I've heard a lot of stories about weapons that have importance, and he may not have heard as many about yours, but I think there's something about these kinds of legends that leaks into other tales. That sword, the hilt is from a tale about a great knight who slayed a dragon, and the blade is actually a sword that was made from the tears of a weeping princess in an old legend. It's interesting to me that stories have a way of filtering through, but I think you deserve the luck. and I hope it comes smoothly.
Kind of hold it in his hand, say, "Thank you. I appreciate it."
Also, I hid some extra muffins behind the flower pot over there, just in case you were hungry. And she
And
goes
he-
back to the table.
I'm like, flower pot. She's so weird.
But I hid them in case. You're welcome.
Yeah, then I'll just eat my food. And as I return to I'll get my food and I'll return to the table. So, are you guys aware of the general idea of how today is supposed to go?
General idea?
Sirach filled us in on some of the details. But we'll see what happens.
So I've had some time to think about it. And I still believe that a two-pronged approach may be our best bet in terms of avoiding catastrophe. Because I'm confident in my own skills, but not to the point of hubris.
All right. Do you have any preference on where you want Fable and I, since we weren't in previous conversations?
I do. I feel as if yourself and Miss Frost here are well suited to the infiltration team that will be led into the area by Affle. He knows how to get in and get out, and I feel like the four of you, along with are uniquely suited to this task. I myself, Thozen, Treasure, and Miss Saride will most likely be on the distraction team, because if worst comes to worst, the three of us can take a better hit than just about everyone else.
Can I... How long do we have until... How far away is this before we have to split up groups?
Yeah, DM.
Do you know? Okay. You have a meeting scheduled with Affle. He would have that information. You probably, so looking at the map, you have two travel options to get to Velxers' Teeth. You can travel across the bridge and by land. It's about 6 days to get to the base of the mountains, and then probably 3 days in the mountains to get to the entrance to Velxers' domain. The other option is to take a boat down the Blood Gulch River. It is 4 days by boat, making it to the lake, and then 1 day to into the domain. About 5, maybe 6 days.
So boat's a little bit faster, but
Boat is about half as much time.
okay.
Yeah.
There appears to be two options available to us, and I shall speak with Affle as to which one should be most beneficial for our determined plan.
How do you spell that dude's name?
Affel.
Thank you.
Affle the Awful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Speaking of which, there is a one of the people that's coming by clearing the plates. When he lifts up the plate sitting in front of you, Olarum, there is a small folded piece of parchment that seemed to have been sitting underneath it or was dropped there recently.
I will pick it up and read it.
Fucking rogues.
What can you do? So
I know these goddamn rogues.
there is a few arrows for like directions, and then there is the name of another location. Arentum Antiques.
Well, honestly, this guy's pretty cool. I'm jealous. I wish I could be half as cool as him.
I mean,
because he definitely just dropped a note whilst we were eating, and I have no idea if he was even here or if he had someone else do it.
my guess is that it was the waiter whenever he picked up your plate.
That sounds about right. I'm gonna go look.
So really, just get some friends that can do that for you.
That's actually the secret of rogues. They don't actually do anything on their own. It's misdirection. It's all misdirection. You have friends with you. You sleep in a room with 3 people. Don't tell me I'm wrong, Talroth. It's a group effort. I'm not saying you're not skilled. I'm saying if someone's looking right at you, it's harder to pick a pocket. If they're looking at your friend, it's a lot easier. I'm not wrong. I'm gonna run away now.
So yeah, Talrod's gonna just kind of look at that and just ignore that tirade as he's looking around the bar just to see if he sees Awful around.
Okay, yeah, make a perception check.
That is a 24.
Okay. You do not see Apple. He is not in the room. You don't see much trace of him either. Make me a intelligence-based sleight of hand check. Your gloves don't apply the bonus to them, but your proficiency does. I'm doing basically a specialized form of investigation.
And sleight of hand, you said?
Yeah.
That would be a 21.
21. So Clever Stitch is right. That is one way. The waiter could have dropped it. The kid that was bussing the tables seems lithe enough. He has gloves on, so easy enough to make a drop. The other thing is the paper is very thin, so a adhesive that would release as the plate cooled down would be the second easiest way that somebody from the kitchen could have brought it over. Because again, it's not a buffet. All the plates are coming out of the kitchen. They just all have the same stuff on them. So those are the two most likely roguish sleight of hand ways, non-magical ways. So still impressive.
Yeah, I want some of that adhesive in real life. That's real cool. That's smart.
What are you guys up to?
So
I'm gonna finish up eating. Got a couple errands to run. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Then I'll just head out the door.
Okay.
I'll let him know that like where the what was it? Something's antiques.
Arentum Antique.
Thank you, Matthew.
Welcome.
Well, I believe we have a location to meet Mr. Awful.
Is there a time on that note or no?
Is there a time?
No. You would seem to believe as soon as possible.
Well, all right. I guess we'll head over.
Sure.
Lead.
Okay. And I'll try and follow the directions and head out. And
Okay. Make a survival check.
hey, I actually have proficiency with this. Let's do this. But it's not gonna help. 11.
11. You get there. It takes you. You make a wrong turn or two, but but not for far, right? You turn down the road and then you're like, wait, no, that's okay. I turn and you turn around and go back, and it's never like obvious ones. It's places that have like a roundabout, or like there's two left turns, and it doesn't. You're not quite sure which left turn to take, right? And it splits like that, and you're like, so. But you guys are make your way outside Arentum Antiques. It is a small corner shop. It is off the main drag, so it is, I wouldn't say new to the city. It's in one of those districts that is probably like third generation, fourth generation. So it's still an established place. It's been here for a long time, but it is not a place that is not a place that is ancient by any real standard. As you guys are making your way in, there's some large double doors, sort of glass uppers that you can see that are the frosted over or sort of have that reflective bit. You can kind of see inside. It is an antique shop, a small curio. There is a wraparound display case all along the back and the side walls, and in the center of the room there is a large table, and posted around it are some things on display, some teapots, some pieces of art, some small antique blades. None of them seem terribly functional as far as the weapons go. Mostly more historic, or things that have begun to decay, right? Weapons and things of a time of when bone or light iron or brass and things like that are there. On the central display table, there is rolled up a series of tubes that seem to be holding large maps or things of that nature. The ringing of the bell brings out the shopkeeper, who looks at you all. He is a slightly older gentleman who has his hair slicked to one side. You can tell he probably doesn't see a lot of the sun, but other than that, he is healthy. And as he notices you all, he sort of looks around and, I believe you might be Olaroon.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. These have been set out for you. I believe your associate should be joining you shortly. So, if you have any questions, please let. And as he is speaking, the bell to the door rings once more, and in walks a mother pushing sort of this Priya-pram baby thing. She's very well dressed. She has a exquisite taste, and most of it is sort of lace, and as is the little baby carriage that she is pushing around, an odd mechanical contraption for you guys, not something you would have seen. Most babies are carried in like slings and things like that.
In a
And
papoose.
in a papoose, exactly. And any of you that have a perception check of like 14 or higher, passive perception, you would, so you, Sirach, do notice that the Talroth's not there.
Oh, that's right. Then yes. What do I notice with
Unless
my
you,
30 eyes?
Talroth, did you sneakily follow them? Okay, that was your intention. Okay, that sounds good. All right. So you can make a perception check for me outside, if you would like.
That is a 26.
26. Okay. Okay. You see these people as well, and Talroth, you would also notice, as well as Sirach, that the pram seems to have like a silence enchantment on it, because the baby is crying, but you guys don't hear it.
I'll just kind of whisper to myself, "Oh, that is damn useful."
That's one way to Ferberize, I guess. It's like, I'm gonna let you cry yourself out wherever we are. I'm just gonna.
As the woman comes in with the baby, you guys are paying attention to this. The gentleman who was there. I'm so sorry, Madam Ayard. There's been a private arrangement made. Yes, I understand that, but you told me you would have my piece in today. And as you can see, the little one simply cannot wait another day. These painful teethings are difficult on all of us. Of course, ma'am. I believe I do have your piece. A moment. And
Has she stepped away from the pram as she's talking to him?
No, she hasn't.
Okay.
She is standing next to it, and
can I try to like sneak up and look in at the child?
You can, yeah. She notices you, unless you're really trying to be stealthy. I mean, it's up to you.
I mean, yeah, let's go stealth.
Okay, yeah. Make a stealth check.
Okay, it's not the best. 8 plus 7 for 15.
Yeah, she doesn't really notice you creeping over to the baby carriage. What would you like to do, Sirach?
Can I make silly faces at the baby?
Yeah. Go ahead, make a performance check.
13.
13.
Yeah, 14 minus 1.
Yeah, it seems good enough to catch his attention. The baby kind of smiles, but you notice that when it moves its mouth, it hurts, and so it starts crying again, and it's this terrible cycle. The man from behind the bar, behind the display, grabs a. It sort of looks like a cinnamon stick to you guys. But it's got some like magical enchantments and etchings on it, and he hands one over to her, and there's like a small silk cloth that has wrapped up a few of them, and here you are, ma'am. This should numb the pain for at least a day, at least a day by stick. Thank you. All right, well, have fun with your party, and she'll make her way out. Once more, the door opens, the bell rings, and as she is leaving, Talroth, you see her exit. And as she has left the room, outrolling Talroth's perception checks, Athel is just sort of standing in the corner as the door comes sliding shut, and he'll just sort of step over and slide the door locker on it. There. That should give us at least a few moments of peace. Olarum, who are your friends?
I'll introduce Stitch, Fable, Sirach. Talroth is probably around here somewhere.
On a natural one, Athel did not see Talroth across the street. So, spy versus spy just can't see each other. Can't see each other anywhere.
It's that image. They're both behind the same phone pole, looking out at different directions,
Yeah.
going, "Where is it?"
Where did they go? All right. Let's get started, shall we? He makes his way over to the table, begins rolling out what are some very, you can tell, antique kind of parchments, very pale, thin, look like maybe rice paper, sort of like they're designed to have light cast through them, or be layered in a variety of ways. And he begins to show you the layout of Velxer's teeth. They are very small mountains. The Velxer is said to have dreamed into existence. You'll see here. And he points to the lakeside. This is the primary entrance. And he'll go on to explain that the entrance to Velxer's domain on the lakeside is extremely easy to find. It is almost reflective in the lake's water, and just in the bit that sits nestled in the crook of the two closest mountains. It is, and has been for generations, more of a taunt to all who would look to enter it. This is the one that everyone knows about. This is the one that he relies on his servants for traps, for these things to be maintained. It's dangerous, but this is what would have his attention most. He watches these closely. Now here, along the back, and he'll layer on another overlay, and you can see him sort of switching through these plans, these designs, so to speak. And he says, now, some of these here, these are what Velxer uses as escape hatches, escape pods, escape tunnels. Escape tunnels.
Is it a spaceship?
Yes, it is a spaceship. We
I knew it.
Yeah, we're doing Beyond the Mountain. There is a famous D&D like module, one of the early ones, printed by TSR and Gaiax, that you do go in. You go to a mountain, it's a spaceship. And
that's literally the entire point of the Lost Laboratory of Qualish.
Yeah.
In the Infernal rebuild, in like the Infernal Machine rebuild, they're all spaceships.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, so you could like get a laser pistol or a laser sword. Like it's very early on. D&D was like, yeah, Star Wars is cool. Let's put one of those ships right here.
I love that.
Yeah. He points out there in and along the mountains, up high, there are these three are open ports that Velxer, since he can fly, he can use to. Those are his like emergency escape tricks. He always leaves them open, so he can always have a way to escape. They have maybe a trap or two, like something. It is far more minimal because Along the backside of the mountain are the sharp rocks and jagged shoals. Shoals are on the sea, but it applies here. That give Velxers Mountains their name. And there's sort of not a topographical layout, but a very much like a portrait of the mountains. And along the back base of the mountains, you can see, instead of like pine trees that grow and crop up out along the outside, are just these jagged rocks that look like black obsidian or quartz or any number of other extremely sharp, rough, rocky terrain. These I know are accurate. At least these are. He points to the newer ones, which are not the topographical, but the landscapes. Myself and a friend did these a few months ago. Topography doesn't change quite that fast, even around Velxers. Now, once inside, he has some servants, mostly trapped people, slaves. Or they've been brainwashed by his magic. But they will defend him. He lays out a series of rooms. From this central place, you can get pretty much anywhere, except for the main entrance. Main entrance is laden with traps, walls, little hidey holes for soldiers, drop downs, trap people inside. Most of them have been broken or surpassed. They're not actually intended to stop anyone or keep them here. Truth is, they're intended to be easy. To give you a false sense of security. For people to believe what lies beyond is. He continues to describe what's there. Beyond this one, you can get... Ooh, made you guys small. Didn't mean to. Apologies.
No, you just meant to make us feel small emotionally with the panic of this.
Yeah.
So,
oh,
you know.
It was on this one.
We're just
Now
planning.
what-
We're just planning the heist of the century, guys.
Oh my god, we need to do it as if that's it. The next two games are a modified version of Honey Heist. Let's
No,
go.
I was gonna say one last job, but Honey Heist works too.
One last job.
Yes.
Oh,
No,
well, that
sad
job is
to do it,
great.
so we never work together ever again, and that's sad.
It's Olarune's 8.
Ah.
If you make it past the main entrance, there's the warren where he keeps his soldiers. Last I checked, a couple of hobgoblins, trolls, maybe a giant. They're all sworn allegiance. Beyond that room is another combat arena filled with traps. Beyond that, the central chamber that I told you about before. The central chamber, if you can fly, can get you almost anywhere. And we could sneak into the central chamber, but we'd have to scale to the highest point. Second highest point in the mountain. And from the central chamber, there are 3 offshoots. Excuse me, 4. One to his prison. One to his armory. One to his treasury. And the last to his personal sanctum. Sanctum connects to the treasury via its own portal. So, that's the layout.
I'll point at the map. I'll be like, our primary target is most likely this armory. Secondary is unfortunately most likely the sanctum, in case we can't find what we need.
Now this hole that he drops it down from the sanctum. Below the sanctum is the armory. Below the armory is the prison. Below the prison is a deep crevasse that leads to a lake. When he's mad, he'll toss it all the way down into the water. He shows you there's a little nook that seems to be like a shaft that flows the whole way down. Not big enough for Velxer to fit through. Something small might be able to get down there. But wings would be useless. You have to be able to float or fly. Very contained, tight area. A person could jump down, but probably scratch themselves up pretty good making the fall.
Is there a way to get to the bottom of that pit without having to go down it?
Not that I'm aware of. The underground lakes are difficult to navigate. They are filled with rocks, miles long, no room for air. If you could breathe water, you're still facing a salmon's fight of swimming upstream. So, nobody I know of could do it.
So, when it comes to the infiltration, you say our best bet is to descend from from the second highest peak, correct?
That'll get you directly into the central chamber.
Okay.
His gallery. You could climb to the top of the mountain and descend directly into the sanctum, but he may be in there. And beyond that, it's a tough climb.
What's the best route to the armory, in your opinion? Minimal confrontation.
He thinks hard about it. Central Chamber's a good choice. It's larger than the sanctum, has more exits than the sanctum. Going directly into his inner sanctum can still get you to the armory, but I don't like a place with only one or two ways in and out. I like having options. If it was me, I actually wouldn't take either of them. I'd follow this one. And he points to the hatch that leads to the treasury. It's odd what beholders think is treasure, but this is where he keeps what he finds valuable. I've looked at that entrance a number of times. It's heavily trapped, but I think it'd be a good distraction to keep him out of his sanctum. Now, I know you all had your own distraction planned. You could come in through the front. And, if you're as persuasive as you believe you are, probably talk your way directly to Velxer. He likes to talk. How I got out of there alive.
I mean, Sarad likes to talk too.
And what if we did know somebody who could breathe in the water?
They, like I said, they'd have to be able to swim upstream for miles.
So,
Um,
I have one final question, if I may.
Please ask all the questions you want. I'm here to answer them.
You said you entered this agreement with Velxer in terms of that you work for him.
Yeah, I've done
So-
jobs for him.
would you say he takes a interest in capable individuals?
Yeah, absolutely. Most of life
So?
for him is a game. If you can entertain him, all the better. Most of the time, that just means dying for him. But doesn't always have to. Sometimes. If you're a real bastard, it just means letting other people die for it.
Those that the squad of heavies, myself, those in treasure, with Mr. Ida's backup, attempt to enter under the guise of offering our services to him. That way his eye is fixed on us, and the infiltration team can reach the armory while he's busy.
And what happens when he says, "Sure, join the club," and you say, "Oop, never mind. Actually, I'm sorry, that was a lie. See ya."
Yeah,
What
how far are
happens
you
then?
how far are you willing to take your initiation? If he presses you into his employ right there, or decides that you're not worth his time, that distraction could go a lot faster and worse very quickly. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying let's get a backup plan in place.
Well, I also turn to Affle, and I'll be like, Affle, how did you avoid immediately being pressed into his service to the point that you could at least escape?
I went in there with an expedition a couple years back. We'd heard the rumors of Slodic in this city, Klein, a number of others. Velxers lost a lot of entertainment when he ruined the Klein family. He didn't understand it. My team came in. We worked around through the teeth and the back. Took us days. Shreds your armor. Anything less than steel. Cut up. No. It's a difficult climb, but it's doable. We made our way in. We were moving around pretty smoothly. And Velxer was creeping. His gallery he's set up as a hole of mirrors. Keeps trying to dream of himself, I guess. Not quite sure. Anyway, we thought we were safe because he was asleep. A bunch of little Velxers started running around. So, we started making bargains, deals. When the big man woke up, the little one sort of popped off, disappeared. He was irritated, but he's happy to have a new plaything. I convinced him that I knew some sleep specialists. Might be able to help him with his dreaming problem. That I led the team there. I could lead others. Keep adventurers coming by to entertain him. Bring him things. Make for good sport. And so I do, from time to time. About twice a year. I'm honest with them. Same way I've been honest with you. Some of them die. Sometimes I go out and find monsters, trolls. How we got his trolls. He liked them. Trolls he can play with and have a harder time breaking. They stitch themselves back together eventually. So, after that, he really liked it.
Did your expedition that you were with make it out with you, or were you the only one who survived that particular exchange?
I was the only one allowed to leave.
And
Other people-
therein lies my issue with you all going in to ingratiate yourselves into a service, is that I figure he will say, sure, stay for a while. Oh, you want to leave? Oh, no. No. And, like, eyeballs you.
That's my concern as well, because if the whole plan is to be able to distract him and then get in, chances are pretty solid we're still going to have to come rescue the distractors at the end of all this. Which is why I think that Olaroon should be the one going to get the sword itself and not part of Distraction Party. Because if he needs to be the one to wield it, and someone has to come in and fight us free, we should make sure that it's the guy who has the sword he knows how to use, coming in to save the day at the end.
Yeah, but have you heard him try and walk somewhere?
I'm completely aware of my.
Really valid, but it was just a concern.
If we think that inevitably the two groups will have to come together to escape the Beholder, then it stands to reason that should group not Olaroon be able to pick up the sword at least, whilst we meet, we can do a track baton handoff as we're running and say, here you go, take your sword, draw it.
I was
defend us
more-
from
I
the
was more
scary
thinking-
Beholder.
I was more thinking if, depending on how far apart the groups are, if he was able to attune to it once picking it up and take the hour and then come and actually be able to use it during a fight. Because just as a sword, he might as well just use any sword. If he was able to go take the time and attune to it, and if so the rest of us are willing to be held for an extra hour and just fuck it around, it might be worth it to let him actually have the time to actually make the sword do what it's supposed to do. That was my thought. That was my only thought process there. Like, I get that we can pick it up, but we're not supposed to be the ones who are bonding with it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Athel, have you ever heard of anybody going in there as a group and making it out as a group?
Yeah. But not in recent years. Plenty of adventurers before the Kleins would brave Velxers' teeth. For a while, killing Velxer was sort of like a rite of passage for adventurers down the Blood Gulch River. Something happened. Killing Velxer was just something you did. You'd wake up, he'd come back. Other people would go and do it. But something changed about a decade ago, 12 years ago. That's when we started hearing rumors about Velxer having a family, or at least wanting one.
Prestiging himself!
Can I do some sort of check to see how a beholder would come back? 'Cause
Sure.
that's not standard beholder
No.
stuff.
No. It is not standard beholdering. You can do, I'll take Arcana or History.
Arcana.
Can I help with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Can he roll with advantage instead of me rolling my own?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So I rolled a 17 on both. So either one is 17.
Okay.
21 for Arcana.
Okay. So, beholders themselves don't have any sort of undeath ability to them. Maybe if he was old enough to be like a death tyrant, but specifically what you guys have, what you know about Velxer is beholder, not death tyrant. Okay. One of the things you know is that most of the time if there's a beholder hive, it's a beholder dreaming of itself and creating essentially like copies of itself. So the most likely thing is that there were other copies of Velxer and one would die, the other one would stick around. Or the other option is that in his final death, he dreamt himself back to life.
I'm just gonna go out and say it. I do not think a meaty hit-taken party is the way to go with him. I think the party who can tell him a good enough story and convince him or help him find whatever weird piece he's looking for in himself, because that is not normal behavior, and I don't think he's going to be a normal beholder because of it.
I mean, normal and beholder is a...
Also,
Literally called aberrations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
but still.
to be fair, the meaty hit group plus Saride.
We're literally just there to escort Saride.
Well, also, they're some of the biggest talkers, or at least you got a couple of them. You, in exchange for Thousand, would probably be Fable. Would probably be the other way to do that, but he's not leaving her side, and just like...
Yes, because what we need to do is split up the healers during this event.
But
Or
yeah,
not,
yeah,
is keep the healers all together and send a group in without a healer.
Yeah, but we're not. That's not happening.
I know.
That's, but also the same thing with Clinky Clanky over there is the same problem with Treasure. That have you ever heard her try and walk? She's like stilettos on tile. It's wild. But I think that, yeah, as long as they don't go in planning on fighting it, then the meaty talky group is probably the best bet as it's formed now. The problem just lies in what we've known the problem's gonna lie in and how they get out afterwards.
The extraction was always going to be the most difficult and dicey part.
Beholders don't fly terribly fast. If they can make it up one of the tunnels, one of his escape hatches, I could prep one for them.
Is there a way we can pre-trap it as they are going towards Velxer, so that as they're running away, they trigger the trap behind them, collapse?
It could. It just depends on how much time we have. And where everything's happening. If we're using the escape tunnels in and out of the sanctum, we have to keep Velxer out of the sanctum. Same thing with the central chamber or the treasury. The treasury is going to be the hardest one to detrap and then retrap. Probably have to give your talking louder individuals some form of distraction so that they can extricate themselves as well. Can any of you teleport or change planes or something like that?
Yeah, that's what
I have some minor teleportation abilities.
Myself.
Sarai does, but she's in the group that needs the distraction.
But I'm saying, well, less of a distraction if they can teleport, right?
She
Well-
can teleport herself. I don't know if she can teleport anybody else.
And
I'm not really a magic guy, so not really sure.
Athel,
Yeah.
what's the general range on his abilities?
Any magic guy? 150 feet. Maybe 200 long. That big eye. That big eye is pointed at you. Nothing. None of your stuff is working.
So I say the talking group tries to maintain as much distance as humanly possible.
If you're in the chamber, you need to be prepared. You're not going to outdistance 150 feet. Not in his home. You'd have to get him out of it to be further than that. Excuse me. My smoker's voice is difficult to maintain.
We've been talking with Athel now for 20,
Yeah,
25
20-ish minutes. Yeah.
Since Talroth doesn't seem to be here now, I'm just gonna go unlock the door, peek my head out, check around, look and see if he's done with his errands. Do I see a stealthy elf man?
Talroth?
Do I need to roll a check?
If you're rolling perception, it's at disadvantage because of the cloak.
Yeah, I don't know if you're still sticking around and stealthing, so that's up to you.
So that was my question. If you are
I had shot you a message.
I saw the message. Are you like behind it or are you immediately in front of it?
Would have been just kind of in front of it, so when I see it open, I can sneak right in with a natural 20 on stealth.
Okay.
I mean, you can only sneak in so much as if there's a body there.
You have to have something in between you and other people looking at you. What I will say is this. Clever Stitch, make your perception check.
At disadvantage, I rolled 2 19s.
Okay.
So a 21.
Nice.
I'm not very observant.
You're not very observant. That's okay. So you open the door, you poke your head out, you sort of look over Talroth's head. He is Metal Gear Soliding crouching. Right?
Sure.
He's got the MGS crouch going. But as you go to close the door, because you said you just cracked it, like you just went to put
I'm
put your
literally just
head.
sticking my head out.
Yeah. So as you do that, you do notice him slipping in, just like under and into you. Yeah. So and your frame, even though this is exclusively a halfling ability, technically, to have another creature block, give you cover for stealth, because you rolled well. That is how you make your way into the room.
You could have just had me open the. Okay. I'll just back up slightly, close the door.
There you go. So as the door closes, Apple isn't looking in your direction. So.
And as you come in, I will just begin to bring you into the conversation.
Okay.
So that is the entire reason why I went up. but
Super
this is-
subtle, like.
That's fine. Everybody else can be surprised that Talroth is there, but Clever Stitch kind of had to note it. Like I love the rolls and stuff, but I can't do the
Yeah, he can't
hide
be.
in
It's
the
not an
hide in the
invisibility cloak.
spotlight,
Like.
right? That the natural 20 hide in the spotlight check. So there we go.
Or even not like announcing that you're there. We're trying to figure out what we're doing. I'll walk back over to the group after locking the door.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that the best solution for making sure that people can get out quickly is probably making sure that he can't follow afterwards.
Collapsing one of the tunnels. Some form
Mhm.
of weighted net trap, perhaps. Something along those lines.
A weighted net trap.
I can run very fast.
I can fly very fast.
Yeah, both of those things aren't magical, so our speed would help. Is a boon that can't be negated by his magic canceling eyeball.
Absolutely.
I'll turn to Stitch. Stitch, do you have any experience using those kinds of traps on targets before?
A little here and there. My expertise was not necessarily in those sort of traps because you don't use those sort of traps on people. But it's kind of in everybody's bag. So I mean, meh. Not the best at setting them up, but triggering a trap that you know is there is relatively simple. If nothing else, I think between Sirach, myself, and Talroth, we can figure out how to set up a trap.
So, what do you think of the practicality of creating a weighted net,
Mm-hmm.
right? Handing that off to, putting it in the bag of holding, handing it off to Sirach. Sirach, you fly above him, and as you're above him, you pull it out of the bag and drop it.
I mean, it could work. I mean, if I'm flying around, if I'm flying around in his own space, there's probably a good chance he's gonna see me.
Of course, which is essentially why this would be, again, this is another backup plan.
All right.
This is in case we need immediate extraction.
I will say there's a good chance, like, I think all of us can pretty much outrun him.
No, we can. It's just, I don't know if we can outrun the
Sorry.
distance of his eye beams.
My thought is if those of us, and Talroth is pretty quick on his feet too, but if those of us who are a bit quicker, without the reliance of magic, are able to... So we have two groups. Group this one is talking to the Beholder. Group this one is sneaking around. Group this one needs to leave. Group this one comes in, distracts the Beholder, runs around a little bit while this one flees. Then this one goes and triggers trap. And then we all leave.
I mean, that sounds good in theory. That's a lot of synchronizing a piece of technology that doesn't technically exist. Would we be able to get our hand on some sending stones to be able to have one group just be like, it's time to fucking go? Like, just anything like that? That's my only concern is the timing.
Yeah.
That is a worthwhile investment.
I think so.
Especially
Like, specifically for something like this, I think I would spend all of my money. I don't have that much, but I'd spend all of my money to try to get us something as a group that we're able to use in situations like this. Because I have a feeling it's going to keep happening.
Yeah, we've already had to split up a couple of times.
Exactly. So I just thought it'd be a good idea to try to find some, and perhaps our friend here has some connections that could get us one for less than legally or cheaper.
I wouldn't say cheaper, but I could find them.
Very much appreciated.
What other thoughts do we have on extractions?
The only other thing I could think of is possibly the acquisition of a teleport scroll.
As long as we're not being looked at. Right?
Yeah.
Alternatively, if a fight needs to happen, we could teleport into them and suddenly overwhelm him with force. Like once we have the sword.
This is true. I mean, groups of adventurers used to go in there and kill him, right? It was a rite of passage. So,
But it got harder. When he started having a family, I'm guessing he's got some minions that are him, that fight like him. And probably he can do more damage than he used to be able to.
yeah.
I'm guessing if there are clones rolling around, and he's figured out a way to dream himself extras, then they're going to be there to fight. That's going to be our biggest problem.
One thing that Athel said was that when he awoke, his clones disappeared.
Correct.
But that was a
So-
long time ago. I think he may have found a way to make them stable.
No, whenever Athel went.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when did he go? It was recently, or it was a while back.
It was about 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I think in that amount of time, he has found a way, I think, to keep them around.
I think that's
I mean,
his
we
goal.
can-
I know he wants to do that. I think
Whether or not
still
he's
working
made
on
it all the way, chances are pretty solid that if he's been trying this for 5 years, he's at least mastered giving us ghost simulacrums of them. They may last for a longer time than the dreams do. They may be just shadows who can only do one or two things. But I think we have to abandon the possibility. We have to abandon the idea that it's just going to be you and the beholder. It's probably going to be you and about 5 beholders, or one and a lot of tiny ones. That's my bigger concern. So you may not have a chance to use something magical if there's 4 or 5 different shadows that can be looking at you and anti-magicking you. So either running, traps, or having the extraction group have the possibility to jump in with you and just start hacking at things while we all panic run.
At this point in time, we have about 5 separate plans in terms of backups and backups and backups.
And that's good, because it means when plan A fails, you already know to jump to plan B. Like, that's how that works. That's how heist planning goes.
Yeah, so, Athel,
Yeah.
also, what is the practicality of us getting our hands on a teleport scroll?
You got the coin. You got the time. I can find it.
I don't think we have the coin.
Yeah.
We have Matthew speaking. We if the loot sheet is still up to date,
I believe it is.
we have around 2,500 gold. No, sorry, I'm a liar. 3,400-ish. Which is not bad. But if we're talking about trying to get sending stones and trying to get a teleport scroll, and teleport's a really high level spell,
Yeah.
then I don't know if we have the cash for that. We can always have him look and see what he can find. but we don't have like tens of thousands of gold to spend.
Sending stones are going to run you guys between 600 and 1,000. Teleport scroll is probably out of your price range.
Also, keep in mind, we may want to invest in steel armor because he mentioned anything other than steel gets shot all to hell during the climb. And so in case there's a possibility of damaging armor, we may want to upgrade armor for people beforehand.
Some people can't wear.
No,
steel.
no, I know.
Yeah.
Not everyone can. Not everyone can, but for people who can and might get hit, I think that's a worthy party upgrade to try to protect people.
Or at least buying and bringing some backup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much
Yeah.
everyone that wears armor is wearing pretty much steel in some way, shape, or form. Like, I have steel chainmail.
Well, it's for the people that are wearing leather
Oh, yeah.
and studded leather.
Yep.
Yeah.
Most of us can, and they can't wear. Yeah.
The metal armor
Um,
people are okay. It's the people that have to wear light armor that are in danger.
On the climb? Because I thought it was only when you're trying to enter, like...
It's on the climb.
Okay.
So,
like, technically, I mean, I'm not just trying to worry about myself here, but on that climb I should be safe because I can just fly over most of the stuff, right?
Heavy winds might knock you into them.
Okay, but let's pretend there won't be heavy winds. Then I can just fly.
Well, if there's no heavy winds, then you're perfect. You can just fly.
Oh, beautiful. At least we don't have to worry about a contingency plan for that.
No way on
my-
Earth that'll go wrong.
Now,
so
it's the power of positive thinking.
yeah. So I know that we have about 5 plans, but having 5 plans doesn't really matter if you don't have them as plans 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and instead you just have them as plans group.
So,
So what is our first plan?
Let's do
Primary-
this. Let's take a 10-minute break. It is 9:30. 9:32. We're gonna come back at 9:45. So, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We're gonna take a short break. We will be back in just a minute, but until then, stay tuned. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. We are Random Encounter Productions. I'm Cody Stone. With me tonight, we have
Matthew, I'm playing Clever Stitch, the Tabaxi Arcane Archer.
Caitlin, I'm playing Fable Frost, the Ice Genasi Phoenix Soul Sorcerer.
I am Cole, and I am playing Olarun Dawnseeker, the ASMR Hexblade Warlock Paladin.
Hi, I'm Eric, and I'm playing Sirach, the Arakakra Horizon Walker Ranger.
Howdy, y'all. This is Maz. I'm playing Talroth Oakenblade, the Wood Elf Scout.
Okay. You guys are in an antique shop, Arentum Antiques, and you are hanging out with Affle. Affle the Awful. Awful Apple.
Where is Abayam Antiques? Because I don't like to rent my antiques.
No, you gotta rent them.
Boo, you stink!
And I'll just leave.
No, you're fine. All right. You guys have been making plans for your assault on Velxers' teeth. What would you like to do? We're talking about you were going to actually decide which plans went in what order because you had developed many plans. Well, that's no, but that's okay.
So, plan number one.
Number one, big beefy people in front, get attention. You guys sneak in, liberate the item in question, and then we run back to Spain like there's no mañana.
Back to Spain, that's your plan.
So that's just the general gist of the first plan. Ideally, if we can talk and get everything taken care of. However, there's one major part that we are leaving out of this plan, and that is the procurement of that black iron key, which throws a proverbial wrench into everything.
Who wanted this key? Was it you, Awful?
It is me.
And it goes to just treasure, right? Like treasures untold?
Something like that.
And you said it's behind his eye?
Yeah.
Is that like literal?
Velxer wears things on his eye stalks. Rings, keychains. He likes to jingle. Likes to adorn himself.
And
When I was
want
younger,
us
I had
to-
a bit of destiny. Old gypsy woman. Wanderer through the Great Plains. Told me what I sought. Was locked behind a door. Required a key of black iron. The key sat behind the eyes of a mad beholder. I've seen Velxer. Truth is, I'm not sure whether he's wearing the key or if it's actually behind, like in one of those stalks.
Or, hear me out here. This is like a beauty is in the eye of the beholder type deal. And it's behind your eyes because it's in your past or...
Motherfucker.
I don't know if Affle is one for, elaborate metaphors.
He
I mean, what
remains
is the fortune that's being told by a crazy gypsy woman, if not just an elaborate metaphor? Am I right?
he just remains as stone-faced as ever.
Of course. So, this is where I believe we revisit the weighted net plan, which does offer us an opportunity to liberate said item.
alternative thought, Talroth is very skilled at procuring things off of people,
He is.
and we know that this beholder likes to sleep and likes to dream, presumably, but likes to sleep mostly. What if we catch the beholder as he's sleeping and hope that Talroth can sneak past any mini beholders that might have been dreamt up, and he yoinks it off of the sleeping body?
I certainly believe that he is capable to do something of that nature. However, I will not say that he will do it without speaking to the man in question.
Have you gotten eyes on that key before?
Holy balls, where did you come from?
From the door.
Okay.
The key. It has many on him. There's one specific one we're looking for. Key.
Is it easy to spot, or is it kind of a guessing game on which key it is?
The key is etched in the ruins that read Key Irkela Morte.
We know someone who deals with keys of death.
It is the path to a brilliant death.
We need to talk to our necromancer friend.
So, it should be etched on it in these languages. And he rifles through some of the papers that he has there. There is an etching of a key. The shape, don't pay attention to that. That's just a guess. But the runes on this design, that's what we're looking for. He wears about 6 keys. Grouped up in rings of 2.
Because it's going to take some looking, my thoughts, and Talroth, obviously, your thoughts would be much helpful, but my thoughts are either talking group takes note as they're talking and tries to figure out which one it is, or sleeping beholder. Otherwise, I don't really know if we can just like run and snatch. Other thoughts?
I think they'll have to do some reconnaissance on it. If they're as good talkers as you suggest, maybe they can talk him out of it. I don't know.
How hard set are you on us getting this key first try? Like if they're not able to do it, but they figure out which key it is, and then we send in another stealth team to go yoink it. That be acceptable, or will you turn us into the beholder if we don't get it immediately?
That is a good question. What is the timeline on this procurement?
He spends a few minutes really looking you guys over. Make a persuasion check, Stitch.
I aid him.
Yeah.
Look, give you advantage.
Alright, well, my persuasion isn't negative at least.
Good.
A 14. I'm a very cute cat. You can't say no to a cat.
He looks you over.
I begin making biscuits.
What are your everybody can make an insight check if you'd like in this moment.
One roll tonight. First roll of the night.
Modified 20. Whatever.
18.
Nice.
11.
11.
8.
8. Okay. 3, 8. You guys don't really. You get the. Aphel's hard to read, and he's a little standoffish. That's kind of where you guys are at, to be honest. 11. You. You get the idea that the key's important to him. So. With you guys up in the 18, 21, 20 range, that range, he absolutely will sell you out if it'll get him the key. Without, but it hasn't gotten him the key yet. So he knows he has to trust you guys enough. But he is worried that and he sort of says it, timeline is before you leave those mountains. Doesn't have to be the same trip. But you make it back here to Vloden Saravik. As far as I know, you're. And then, well, then I have to do things that aren't very nice.
Paladin's honor. So I'll turn to Talroth, and I'll look at him and I'll say, Talroth, what's the likelihood of us running a successful pickpocket if we keep him busy?
Now, are we trying to get that key before or after we get the sword? Because, I mean, it's seeming like we're going after at least 3 different things here while trying to keep the Beholder distracted. This is getting to be a little hairy even for me.
So, in terms of the gems, that's Aphel's business.
Right. Although I am kind of curious where those are going to be so we know where Aphel would be while all this is happening in case shit goes down. Are the gems and the sword in the same room?
They're in the treasury.
So we're all going to the same place. You get your stuff. We get Olrune's sword.
I need 3.5 minutes to get the gems.
I think one of the big questions I have with all this talk about traps and sneaking in, the moment something gets picked up, is Velxer gonna know?
Depends on what gets picked up. That's why I need 3
That's
minutes on the gems. That head does have alarms on it. I can make my way past them. Takes time. But you all should be buying plenty of that. The sword, he tosses that around too much. No alarm on the sword. And the key, well, he's on him. So.
mean, if this guy's asleep, might not be too bad to try to get the key off him, but with that many eyes, that's still going to be a risk.
I mean, it's try and take the key off of him while he's asleep, while he's awake, or while he's dead. Those are the only 3 states of being that he can be in. Possibly Saride can convince him to give her the key. There's always that possibility. What that woman can do beyond me. But I think, unfortunately, as much as I would like to make it 2 trips, if we go in, steal gems that have an alarm on them, and steal a shiny sword, and then try and come in a second time to steal a key that's on his body, I don't think that will be successful. Just like if we go in and steal a key off of his body, then try and come in a second time to steal gems that have an alarm and a shiny sword.
It does feel like an all or nothing sort of smash and grab.
Which just begs the question of what order we do these in. Do we try and steal the key as we're running out? Do a jump in doink as we run? Or... because trying to get the gems is... that's the thing that's really getting me awful.
Also, if you're planning on...
The gems aren't a problem. No alarm will go off. I'll get it set. I just need 3 minutes.
Alright. Well, we gotta trust you can do your job then, and so, therefore...
3 minutes of me not being shot at.
We've done worse. We've done more.
Yeah.
To reassure you guys as players, any length of conversation that
Will be long enough.
will be long enough.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
any bit of Saride talking to Velxer is going to be enough for Affle to get those gems. That's and he's not going to set off the alarm unless you try to screw him. That's been the implied threat the whole time, right? So, but it does mean he is not going to be next by your side for a stretch of time, unless you guys stand there with him, which you can do.
So if we do the weighted net, the problem is he can still eyeball us as we try and steal. If we try and steal the key with the weighted net, so I think we either convince him, or we steal it while he's asleep, or we kill him. What order do we want to rank those 3 possibilities in preference of how we go about it?
I think
Plans 1, 2, and 3.
I think plan 1 is, of course, trying to steal everything without everyone noticing.
I think you
Right.
can.
So plan 2, I think, is weighted net. And I think plan 3, if all goes to hell, is try and kill him.
Weighted net helps with the escape.
It won't help with getting the key.
I think talking him out of it is the best way to try to get the key.
What?
If not that, you don't want him to be asleep. You take one beholder and you make it into 3, 4, 5. That just multiplies our troubles. I think talk him out of it, smash and grab it.
All right.
Let me rephrase. I think talk him out of it. If that doesn't work, then just smash it, grab it, and run.
All right. So
You know, as that sneaking team is leaving, they can set off some form of distraction. Something that would draw his attention. Something loud.
like a jam alarm.
Perhaps. Absolutely. That could work. And as he
These
went to
traps.
check, as he went to check that out, the people that were talking with him can exit through a different porthole.
Do we have don't we have like a wand of like fireworks or something like that? A wand of pyrotechnics?
We have a wand of smiles.
Please don't make a beholder smile. That's creepy.
Make the beholder smile, make the beholder smile.
Never make the beholder smile.
It does not. We have a chime of opening. That's it. What were
But
you
I have
gonna
loud spells like Thunderwave. Like, I have loud spells.
ask? What were you gonna ask, Talroth?
These traps that have been talked about. They mechanical or magical?
Mostly mechanical. Velxer's not terribly skilled with magic that exists beyond his own dreaming or eye stalk capability.
It'd be pretty hard to do magic with his anti-magic eyeball. This is only form of sight.
Well, he's got 10 others, but
Well.
the main one.
So since they're mechanical, you should be able to undo them all, right, Talroth?
How many traps we talking?
Other than the vault, that one has a lot. Probably 6 on that descent. The others, main defense of the others is that rocky, jagged stones. He doesn't expect anything is willing to make that climb, and it's a shitty climb. So, the other entrances have 2 traps. One trap for things that are trying to fly down, and one trap at the other end for things that are trying to fly up. Traps that he can block off with his telekinetic eye. So, relatively simple. They have switches and things. It's just getting past the first one. You're talking mostly spiked grates, irises, bladed irises, things like that. Like climbing up and down a chimney.
Relatively simple.
It's not the worst.
Yeah, not the worst, but trying to make sure we can set him back up to trigger them when he walks by or floats by or whatever. That's going to be the catch.
My thought.
Assuming we get him to follow us.
That's gonna take an effort, right? That's gonna take some time of one of us or one of my associates being in that tunnel, reworking that trap. Or
Does
we
it
put
have-
our own trap into there.
I was about to say, does it have to be the same style of trap? Because if we're just rewiring them for him, he'll be able to figure out how to undo them. We should undo them for ourselves and then reuse his own components against him and make them things we can use quickly.
Right.
Be able to make quick tripwires and invisible wires and nets and false and fail safes and things like that that are rapid. I mean, I know how to tie really good knots because of network.
Or
we
just things that are strong enough to
Slow 'em
collapse
down.
the tunnels.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. We have towards the beginning of the tunnel closest to him, we have something that can collapse the tunnel. Then further down the escape route is where we set up the tripwire, so that as we're leaving, the explosives or whatever they are here. We run past, trip the wire, it explodes, Beholder gets trapped.
Yeah.
If we're setting up a trap. We don't even have to set up a trap to run.
Yeah.
But if we decide that that's the way that we want to do it, that's kind of my thought process as far as creating a trap.
For clarity, tunnel. Tube.
Aha, yeah.
Chimney.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's large. It's a big ball, right? And
Yeah.
it can literally just float up.
Yep.
So I wanted that to be clear. Depending on how long you're in there, I can reset some traps. If you guys buy enough explosives or have magic scrolls or whatever, I can set those as well. Just depends on which room we need them in. If the statue's the alarm that's going to distract him from your talking team, I'll be in that room anyway.
And it makes sense because then we wouldn't have to sync up. We wouldn't have to buy the stones, because if we can you can set off those alarms as soon as you're done. We'll be able to hear it. They'll know that's their cue to get the fuck out of Dodge, and we can come running ourselves. That should give everyone enough time to get everything done that they need. It's a loud enough clue that we should be able to hear it. And if something goes wrong, we give everyone a certain amount of time to get out past those sounds, then we'll know if it's 3 minutes past 5, whatever we think we need, we'll know here's where we regroup to go rescue whoever got left inside.
All right. Yeah.
If someone got pinched getting out, we gotta go back for him.
If we can afford it, I think we should still buy the stones, because if the group that's talking is trying to convince him to give them the key, then we need to know when they are done, past just when we're done, so that we don't set off the alarm pre-key acquisition. But that's just if we can afford it. If we can't, then the Beholder comes at us and we snatch the key as we run away. Plan B style.
Slice off an eye stalk and run!
Yeah.
Or we could threaten to break his dreaming mirrors and take your family away if you don't give us the thing. Listen, I'm in love with that, but like, I'll break it in the game because I know he's evil, but like, Caitlin wants him to just have a happy family. But...
somebody roll me 2d6.
I can.
Oh, you got it? Okay.
2 4s.
So it's going to be 800 gold for the talking,
Sorry.
for the speaking stones.
Each of them?
No, it's the
Like
set.
I'm in a pair.
Set?
Yeah.
But that's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all.
Do we want to just go ahead and buy those?
Yes.
That's a worthwhile investment for the party anyway, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay. 800 gold marked off.
Okay. What else do you need Affle to find for you?
Any upper level, or up to, like, some spell scrolls, please. Any that would be helpful buffs that I could cast on the party of talkers before they go in, so Sarai doesn't have to waste her spell slots.
It's not gonna matter.
work.
Oh, it wouldn't stay in
Yeah.
effect when he was looking. Then never mind. Then things I could use on us.
And or
Oh, no way.
explosives. Having him buy whatever sort of trap we want to get. he can probably get it for cheaper / quicker than we can.
Yeah.
Quicker. He can get it quicker. It's cheaper. He may not be able to.
As long as it's the same price. As long as he's not giving us a markup.
I mean, there's a markup for he's not making money off of it. There's a markup for the expediency, is what it is. It's not that he's like, price gouging you on things. I checked with my contacts. I've got some scrolls. Most of them aren't useful in this particular instance, but there's some things that might help. They might be a little expensive, though. Uncommon spell scrolls that are probably useful on the list. I'm not sure about the wording of enthrall. If it's only humanoids, it's not useful. Otherwise, it might be useful.
I'll check.
Okay.
How much is it?
That one is going to be around 300.
Okay.
The other uncommon or common ones, Cloud of Daggers would create a decent wall to keep things from chasing you.
Okay.
I don't think Disguise Self is going to help you guys. I don't think Armor of Agathis is really going to help you. It's worth paying money for, right? So, Arcane Lock. Yes.
So wording of enthrall.
Mm-hmm.
You weave a distracting string of words, causing creatures of your choice that you can see within range and that can hear you to make a wisdom saving throw. Any creature that can't be charmed succeeds on the saving throw.
Okay.
So it's creatures.
So that would affect it if it doesn't
Although,
save.
as soon as it looks with its anti-magic eye, it's negated. But,
Right.
But at least it gives until then.
Yeah.
Well, it's not negated, is it? Because it's not concentration or anything.
Yeah.
So you want to read anti-magic field. That is what his eye does. So if you guys want to know how much of a pain in the ass the eye is, there it is. And for a TLDR, it's a big pain in the ass.
Yeah.
If it is magic, it stops working. That's pretty much it.
Okay. I didn't know if it was an effect that was on him, it would stop working.
Any active spell or magical effect on a creature or an object in the cone is suppressed while the creature or object is in it.
So he is not in his own cone.
Correct.
So yeah, he would, once he's like charmed or enthralled, he doesn't unless he looks in a mirror. If he looks in a mirror, then I actually don't think that works that way. I think it's just
I doubt it, but
I don't know.
The rule of cool.
Yeah.
He's just got an entirely mirrored interior of his lair.
Well, he does have some mirrors because that's how he dreams other people to being. Other spells that are a little more reliable in their usefulness. Wall of Stone, because the wall is not magical, it is a physical shape of stone. Right? Also a stone shape scroll. Those are both rare. One of each. Other than that,
I feel like stone shape would be able to help us, I don't know, get through a tunnel wall, right?
it could. He could also disintegrate it, but it could.
That's true, but if we're trying to get out faster, not necessarily collapse through him, if we just wanted to drop or like burrow through something small enough that like it would take him a while to get through, like he could theoretically disintegrate his way through anything we collapse.
Mm-hmm.
But that's still gonna take still gonna slow him down.
It is.
So how fast
Absolutely.
does stone shape work?
It's instantaneous.
It's instant. Just making sure it wasn't like I had
Yeah.
to sit there for a minute. Like
Stone shape, I believe, is an action to cast and an instantaneous duration. Like it
that
just
might be
happens.
worth it. Yeah, that might be worth. That might be worth grabbing.
The stone that you change can be no larger than 5 feet in any dimension.
So that would be for cutting through an existing wall,
Yeah, you
because
can-
we'd be able to squeeze through and cut that. Yeah, but
Yeah,
he
but-
wouldn't.
or go through a small passage
Mm-hmm.
through a wall, as long as the wall is less than 5 feet thick.
Yeah.
So
But he wouldn't be able to follow us. But
Well, the tunnel's going to be bigger than 5 feet
Yeah,
because
okay.
he's wider than 5 feet.
that's true.
Yeah, he is.
No, I was mostly thinking if we had to go through a wall to like a different next door tunnel
Yeah,
without him being able to follow us easily.
I think.
Like looking at like a layer map, if there was a way, if there were two tunnels that were parallel and we could cut through the wall between them and then run down a different tunnel, that might be worth it. But like I don't know that there's a place like that exists, and it might just be a waste of a spell slot. So
Yeah.
we don't have to worry about it. But I was thinking if he knew of a place where there were two parallel tunnels,
They're not.
but no, then
So-
never mind.
How much is Wall of Stone?
Wall of Stone is. Wall of Stone's 2,000 gold pieces. That's on the cheap side.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah.
The other thing, well, no, damn it.
And there's a
'Cause I was gonna
dimension door
say-
scroll.
Oh.
Again, 2,000.
Because with Arcane Lock, if we closed one of the, like, blade irises,
Mm-hmm.
you could theoretically lock it.
Yeah.
But if he looks at it, then it's unlocked. It's still closed, but it's unlocked. So locking it doesn't necessarily do a whole lot. So I think those spells are out of our price range.
Okay.
For the most
Yeah, I
part,
think
yeah.
so. All good thoughts, but yeah, him being able to just disintegrate, unless that is the eye stalk we managed to cut off, which, by the way, I'd like to say right now to whatever group is going in and possibly fighting him, if you have a choice of one eye stalk to target, maybe that one, so he has a harder time chasing us. Like, maybe
So-
the fucking disintegrate ray.
Oh,
You don't know.
yeah.
You'll be able to tell when he starts shooting at people. I'm saying if it comes down to it, he starts attacking and y'all start fighting, you'll goddamn know. Like, that one.
Well,
So
yeah.
just...
So for a keg of explosive powder, it's gonna be 400 gold pieces.
Expensive.
That's a 20-pound keg.
Can
Jesus
Thousand...
Christ.
Can...
Th-
Good
that's-
lord!
That's kind of what you're gonna need to
Oh yeah.
collapse a big ass tunnel.
Yep, that's fair. And I was gonna ask if, but we're not at the university, so never mind. Thousand has no ties here.
Mm-mm.
I was gonna say, can we like raid the forge? But it's not our forge. But is there a possibility that Thousand knows like more flammable things that are cheaper that he could maybe help with as like a blacksmith that he would know that Awful doesn't?
I mean, the alchemist fire is cheap. It'll burn things, but it's not,
But not
going
stone.
to. It's not gonna erupt rubble.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to find ways to...
Yeah.
I'm good.
I mean, 400 gold is within our price range.
Yeah.
It's expensive, but it's absolutely doable from a price standpoint. It's just a question of, is that officially the plan that we want to go with while we're running? We explode a tunnel behind us and hope that that stalls him long enough that we get out?
From what I understood, you're exploding the tunnel I'm going through.
Although,
When
The
you
sneaky group will be with you.
will they?
If the sword is in the treasury. which
Sword is
where
in the
you-
armory.
Ah. Then I hope you make it out alive.
So do I.
Casually. So, we good? You good? Fine.
How's he handle spice?
Like the food?
No, the drug.
Are you gonna
I'm
pepper
talking.
spray? Are you gonna pepper spray his eyes, please?
I've never seen him eat.
I mean, it might be a bit of a little kid thing, but maybe get a few pounds of some black pepper, sand, salt, something mixed up. Maybe just toss it in his eyes. Probably a little cheaper. It's non-magical. Just
Ear
wondering if-
gas!
Mustard gas, tear gas him. That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Can you put that in the ever-smoking bottle?
Oh my god, it's pebble water.
War crime. You're asking us to commit a war crime.
He's
Against the
cloning
beholder.
himself.
He is a walking war crime.
Here's
A
my
floating
question.
war crime.
Here's my question for Talroth, in character. Cause you bloody brilliant bastard. How good your aim? Would you be able to throw something like that and get it in his eyes from a distance?
Well, that's the thing. I ain't going to invest in no plan like that unless I know something might work.
That's fair. I want to blind the beholder.
DM, can I make a whatever check necessary to try and figure out whether or not that could possibly, like, if we can essentially just jack up a beholder's eyes.
That's the master plan right there, y'all.
Okay. Yeah. Roll. You can roll medicine. You can roll nature, or you can roll. I'm gonna go with those or Arcana. I'll give you Arcana. Medicine, nature, or Arcana.
They're all the same, so here it is.
Okay.
Okay, not terrible. A 16.
Okay. 16. So, beholders have no natural prevention from let me rephrase. There's nothing that magically prevents a beholder from not caring about sand in its eye. What you do know is that, because it shares features with aquatic and amphibious things, it has sort of a thicker membrane around its eyes. So, its main eye is bigger. It does get irritated. It will cause it to blink, right? So while it's blinking, I would say it would be a round on, a round off, a round on, a round off, potentially.
Be the difference between us
You
killing it.
you would have to hit all other 10 eyes for it to be, plus the Bane one, for it to be blind, right? So blinding it is extremely difficult through natural means. Now,
So,
What-
new question then.
hold on. What I will
Okay.
tell you is that it does not have any special ability to see through things. So you can obscure your escape with the smoke from the ever-smoking bottle. I don't believe the smoke is magical, but the bottle itself is magical. If he saw the bottle, it would be like you corked it.
Do we have an ever smoking bottle?
You do.
We do.
Oh.
What was going to be your question?
if we could find a way to procure gas masks and goggles. I know we've had breathing masks in the past, because if they can just fucking have a pull pin in case of emergency poisoned gas, like Talos was talking about, that they can just fill the goddamn room with, but they're fine, that might be your good escape plan, is just like, blinding gas, run.
So the smoking bottle can blind people, but it doesn't suffocate people. And
But if they put pepper in, I didn't want our team to get
That's not
hurt.
the way. That's not the way that works. Yeah. You can't put additives into an ever smoking bottle and have it be effective more than like right there.
I think we may have just we may have just found our.
It is, but I can't allow that ever smoking bottle, which you can just leave somewhere, to become like an eternal mustard gas bottle, right? Like that's something very different.
Again,
like I can't.
That's the war crime.
Exactly. I can't I can't do that. The ever smoking bottle is strong enough to obscure vision of people.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm gonna double check to see if the smoke is magic, as per the wording on it, but that would be the only thing that would prevent it from being a deterrent.
But I think we may have just figured out our way to escape. Talroth, and possibly even get the key. If you can maneuver your way through that smoke, if you can get close enough.
Can we get just him some goggles that see through it? Just Talroth?
Yeah, that would be the problem. Is
That's too
if
expensive.
the beholder?
No, they just don't exist.
Okay, just making sure. Good.
Let me rephrase. You would need X-ray glasses.
Got it.
And those are magic and expensive, I'm guessing.
Probably. Yeah.
I don't.
So,
yeah.
So the first order of business is, first plan, talkie, have him hand over the key. You guys go on with the heist. Everyone disappears, right? Plan 2 is now talkie, everything goes poorly. Shoot it in the eye, make it blink a lot, drop the ever-smoking bottle, then we run. How's...
My suggestion with the ever smoking bottle is hold it in your hand as you're running so that you don't lose the bottle forever, as long as the smoke is magical. Because if he can't see you because there's smoke behind you, theoretically it won't cancel out bottle.
Yeah, it may take a moment to
yes.
catch up with you.
Yeah, but yes. Alright, and then plan 3, we kill it.
Plan 3, we kill it.
Like, last plan, we murder it. We take its keys, take all it's worth, bring home thousands and thousands of gold worth of treasure.
I do also
Back to Spain.
have another question, in terms of what's the practicality of Thosen being able to make, let's say, a glass arrowhead filled with some very irritating components? Yes.
He has that make stuff ability, so potentially. He's also now proficient in jeweler's tools. He's not really proficient in glass blowing, so I'd give him.
You don't even have to have it be like a glass thing. You can literally just put a sack, as long as it's not too heavy. Put a little cloth ball with the stuff in it, and then as long as you can like base your aim off of the weight of the new arrowhead, if it hits it, it'll puff at least.
Yeah.
and irritate at least a little bit.
Also, if we're talking about backup plans for the trapping of the whole way, this is gonna get, and again, it's a question for Talroth, because you were mentioning taking apart traps, and then we were talking about rebuilding them with components that are there. Can we make one of those traps a smoke bomb trap, specifically? Have you worked with that? Like, I know you said you wouldn't say it if you didn't know you had the skills. Can we make some smoke bombs, sort of, to drop on him in those falling traps?
I mean, I'm more for taking traps apart, not putting traps together. But near as I can tell, I mean, if you're trying to change a trap out, you kind of have to put something similar in there. Because if the trap ain't set for gas, you're essentially rebuilding a brand new trap. That's going to take
That's fair.
time.
That's fair. All right.
Awful, are you able to remotely set off the alarm? Like, is it a touch alarm?
Yeah, it's a pressure-based alarm. So I'd have to be in the room at the very least.
How quickly do you think you can touch it, trigger it, go up tunnel?
I mean, I'd probably set it so I could shoot it from the tunnel entrance. That I could do. But I can't remotely, I can't do. That's...
Yeah, I mean,
I still have to have line of sight
I just wanted to make
on
sure
it.
you didn't have to touch it.
No, line of sight.
Do we want to give him the ever-smoking bottle?
If you're buying me the explosive powder, I have my job.
I mean, I'm okay dropping 400 gold on this. If that's what it's gonna take. If it's pay 400 gold to get Olaroon his sword, that's more than worth it to me. What do you all think? Alright.
Great.
Have some explosive powder.
Just what I always wanted.
Merry Christmas.
Will you take that instead of that key?
No.
I don't say that. I don't really say that. I was just thinking that in my head.
I don't say it. I just think it awfully loud.
Say it, you
I
coward!
just speak it aloud with my mouth.
Well, now I feel like we have something even more resembling a plan.
So, one of your team goes in the front, talks your way to talking to Velxer, while the other team sneaks in with Affle. Affle is going to stay in the treasury, work on getting his own gems, and setting the explosive trap for that tunnel. When the talking team has given him the signal, he is to set off the alarm in the armory. Excuse me.
Treasury.
Thank you. And escape up the tunnel, collapsing it behind him.
Yes.
At which point, those who had been talking and those who had been sneaking will attempt to exit through another tunnel, through separate tunnels. Okay. Sounds good.
Question?
Yes.
Sorry. Who should have the ever-smoking bottle? Should it be us or should it be...
Talking.
Okay.
Because theoretically, right, like, if the sneaking group sneaks well, he won't ever know what tunnel we're in.
Yeah.
Because the alarm will be coming from a separate tunnel, the talking group will be in a separate tunnel.
The alarm is the equivalent of...
In and out.
Yeah, the alarm, it feels like it's the equivalent of throwing a rock down a bonus tunnel. He may not even know the stealthy group is ever there.
Exactly.
Like, he is going to be looking to chase just you guys, and we can make loud. If just the alarms is not enough, like I said, I have loud ass spells. We have smoke. We have smoke and mirrors are a big fan of illusions to help us get out that are not magic based. Like, we can use mirrors, we can use traps, we can use noise, we can use, like, things like that if he's not looking at eye stalk wise. And yeah, he may never know that half of us are even there.
Can just in case, and this is like so going overboard because I don't think we'll need it, but how much is a weighted net?
So
for the stealth group,
right?
Because if the tunnels are vertical anyway, right? We can have one with us, and if he somehow follows us and somehow finds us, we drop the weighted net underneath whoever is at the bottom of this group that's leaving, and hopefully it slows him down, right? Like, it's not gonna be anything crazy.
So,
but if it's like 50 gold,
a net, a regular net is like a weapon net, costs 1 gold.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that what you need to do, make me an intelligence check. I'll give you advantage.
That's a D12. What the fuck am I doing?
That will not help you.
15.
15. Okay. Speaking with Apple for a few minutes, you're able to deduce the relative strength of an average beholder is about a 10. So your net needs to be 155 pounds in order to slow him down. 150 is his encumbrance flatline, right? So it needs to be 155 pounds. A regular net is 3 pounds. So I'm gonna say probably, yeah, 50 gold, 51 gold to make a specialty net that is extra thick and heavy and weighted and yeah.
I'm gonna make the executive decision to buy a weighted net.
Okay.
So that the sneaky group has something that isn't too expensive.
Yeah.
Isn't too crazy to be able to help us get out.
Okay.
Listen, this might be the most plan-like plan we've ever planned, and I'm very proud of us. I just have to say it. Everyone's got their job to do. Everyone knows kind of where they're going and what they're doing, and we've all got backups on backups on backups. I'm so proud.
There you go. All right, guys. Well, I think we've had a great night planning the adventure. I hope it was interesting for those people at home. I'm sorry that we didn't get into the action tonight, but planning is everything, especially when my guys are going into some dangerous territory. So over the next 2 weeks, we're going to split the teams up. 4 of them are going to do the talking and dealing directly with Velxer, and the other team is going to do the sneaking in. Stay tuned to the social medias. We'll let you know which team is happening when over the next 2 weeks. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for joining us. If you guys like what we do, check us out on Patreon. Got some other things that go on over there, and we should be. I've been working on some new shows. Hopefully, someday they'll come out, and I'll have them to talk to people. But we do some other stuff throughout the week. So we are going to see you guys next time. But until then, be cool.